Most people think it was the Ford Puma that killed the beloved Ford Fiesta, but it wasn't. It was actually this. Confused? Let me explain. So basically there's this production line in Germany that built the Fiesta and the Capri. The real Capri, not the one you're thinking of, not the new one. But Ford needed the space to build all of its latest new EV models, and the Fiesta is the one that drew the short straw, so now it's gone. But the Fiesta was the best-selling car in the UK for like 2 decades, so killing it here is a little bit like demolishing Stonehenge to build a McDonald's drive-thru. Why? So the question today really is, was it worth killing off the Fiesta to build this car? But first, let's pull over and we'll have a good look at it.
I know I might be in the minority here, but I think it looks fantastic. It's properly American looking, boxy, beefed up without being shouty. Ford says it's German engineering with American SUV heritage, whatever that means. There's no grille up front because there's no engine to feed air to. A lot of EVs just leave that as a kind of a blank panel and hope you don't notice, but Ford hasn't done that. They've done a sort of baby Range Rover thing, and I think it really works. They haven't gone for the typical jelly bean shape of all the rivals, which all try to look futuristic but end up looking kind of like a bar of soap. The one criticism you'll hear most is that it's all a little bit safe. It doesn't shout, it doesn't do anything wild. Ford's own design boss said that it deliberately avoided being aggressive. But there's something just distinctly handsome about it. It's not fussy or futuristic. It belongs in a car in 2026, not 2056. So, handsome, purposeful, a little bit safe, and apparently costing you boot space for the privilege. Let's see if the inside makes up for that.
Now the interior is where this gets really good because the inside of this car is a lot better than the ID4. The ID4 looks like the mission statement was just to not offend anybody. It's very bland and boring. But this actually looks like they've done something quite premium. So we've got a 14-inch screen here, and look, it tilts up and down to reveal a nice little cubby underneath. The first time you do this, you're going to think it's a gimmick. The third time, you'll think, how did I ever live without this? I am a little disappointed that the dashboard is still hard plastic because this spec of car costs over £50,000. And when it gets to that level, you think, I really want to see some kind of faux leather with stitching and stuff there. What makes it extra disappointing is the rest of this car is lovely as well. I love the seats, which look suspiciously like the ST seats. We've got nice little touches of soft, like faux leather everywhere. So one little cost-cutting corner there has kind of, not ruined it, don't get me wrong, but it's noticeable when it's surrounded by so much other nice stuff. It's a gorgeous place to be on the inside, and it looks great on the outside too. I still absolutely hate these haptic control buttons everywhere, but before I get too angry, let's take it out on the road and see how it performs. Now this one, the premium all-wheel drive model, has 335 horsepower. That's normally numbers you see in a Ford Focus RS, which means it'll do 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds, meaning this electric family bus is faster than my Focus ST. And that's ridiculous.
And it'll go on to do a top speed of around 111 miles an hour, which admittedly isn't exactly hot hatch territory. All the drama seems to happen in the first 5 seconds, and then it just sort of calls it a day. But underneath this is still a Volkswagen ID4. Same platform, same batteries, same motors, but Ford's engineers have been in there. Different dampeners, different tires, different suspension tuning, and the result is it actually drives better than the car is based on, which if you know Ford, isn't a huge shock. They've got previous here. Put a Ford badge on almost anything and somehow it ends up handling better than anything else at the same price. But they're engineers, not wizards. They can tune dampeners, they can't tame physics. And the physics here is 2,391 kilos, and that is the weight of 2 Ford Pumas. Chuck it into a corner properly, and you do feel that weight arrive a fraction of a second after you do. What they have managed though is keeping that weight low. It's all in the floor, so it doesn't roll around like 2.5-ton SUV has any right to. It just leans in, plants itself, and gets on with it. The ride is properly settled too. Motorway expansion joints, potholes. It just soaks it all up and just doesn't really complain. That steering though, the steering has about as much feel as stirring porridge. You're moving the wheel and something is presumably happening at the front tires, but there's no conversation going on between the two. And the brakes are worse. They feel like pressing your foot into a thick, wet carpet, and they only really do their best work right at the bottom of the pedal travel. So your first press does almost nothing, and your second harder press throws everyone in the car forward. Really takes some getting used to. Now, Ford claimed 352 miles on paper. In the real world, you're probably looking at closer to 280, which is still basically Birmingham to Edinburgh on one charge. And when it does need topping up, 10 to 80% charge takes about half an hour on a fast enough charger. Not class leading, but you'll get a coffee and have a wee and it'll be ready. But underneath all that numbness, the vague steering, the lazy brakes, there's an actual chassis in there that wants to play, which, considering this thing is half Volkswagen, is not what I expected at all. Here's the thing about the Explorer. Everything about it should feel like a compromise. It's a Volkswagen wearing a Ford badge, built to a price and aimed at people who just want a sensible family SUV and couldn't care less what's underneath it. On paper, that's every reason to expect something just forgettable. But it isn't. Ford's taken someone else's homework and actually improved on it. It's better to drive, it's better to sit in, and it's definitely better to look at. This doesn't happen very often in this industry, and when it does, it's usually the other way around. This feels like Ford deciding it doesn't want to play that game anymore. It wants to sit shoulder to shoulder with Volkswagen, not underneath it. And that's actually a bigger deal than it sounds, because this platform underpins the Volkswagen ID4, it underpins the Skoda Enyaq, and it's even in an Audi if you go looking. Out of that entire family, Ford's the one with something to prove. And on this evidence, they might have just done it. 54 grand is a lot to ask for a car with this badge on the back. But really the question is this: do you want a Volkswagen with a Ford badge on it? Or a Volkswagen with a Volkswagen badge on it? For me, having driven this, I'd take the Ford.